The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 10th day of January, 2023. Welcome to the Daily Hour. Well, Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, MMAC, and Lindo's. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sancha Durham, and Tamara McHale will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sancha, this is your first time in a new calendar year, first time we've seen you since before Christmas. So we're just going to say it. Sherry yesterday asked her how her break was. She said she ended the year the way she began it with COVID. Just tell us without me telling your business. How was your holiday?
Oh, goodness. Oh, Jamal, you see my tree is still up, right?
Yes.
Yes,
My father will be proud of you.
This is my first day. I missed the last show of the year. I was very upset. And the show before that, where everyone saw me, I had COVID. Yes.
I thought she was just some super freak. She knew how to avoid things like that, folks.
My unicorn status has been erased. I had never had COVID before. This is my first time having COVID, and I didn't test out until Christmas Eve. So well, you wouldn't. But as a mother, when I tell you that was so heartbreaking, so trying to get a tree decorated, shopping for turkeys, and it was stressful.
Yeah. But you made it through.
I did. Thank God for my mom. Yeah. So my tree is still up because we are celebrating on Saturday. Where I had time to plan. I'm going to have Friendsmas.
Friendsmas. I like that.
Yes. Yes.
All right, folks. I mean, they were about to talk about, you talked about Centra still got her tree up. Christmas is 11 months away. And all. You should have heard them. I heard what they were saying about you.
No, I need to celebrate. And, after I had COVID, it was just back to back. As you know, my son Maddox does any and every activity possible. But over the holiday, he became a champion. First place motocross. I'm so proud of him.
Let's give it to him. All right.
And then we were out dancing gumbays. And so I haven't had a break, but I will celebrate this weekend.
She's celebrating this weekend, folks. She's celebrating. Hey, but you know what's crazy? It's Christmas. I know we've become a more conscious community over the last probably decade or so, but I've always been a fan of it. I just loved, I came from a close-knit family. I loved that. But obviously, not this most recent Christmas, but the Christmas before, my mother was very sick. And then, people have, COVID did different things to different people, whether it was Christmas, missing the big opportunity to take that big 40th or 50th birthday trip, a lot of different things. But I think I like what you said, Sancha. Like, you know what? There's no law saying I need to get rid of my Christmas tree. We're going to celebrate even still. We'll make a day of this. So I appreciate and I like that what you're doing. I do. So merry belated Christmas to you, Sister Sancha, and greetings everyone. And thanks for making us part of your daily routine. We have a good one today as we have the principal of Mount Saint Agnes Academy, Miss Anna Machado. She's coming on this show to discuss what makes MSA a different learning experience. The daily play is a remember when, and I'm going to give you all a hint. The daily play will reflect MSA. So go get your Google on. I'm giving you all a hint. Go get your Google Um, if this is your first time tuning in, please don't let it be your last. The show is now available live on our website, thedailyhour.com. You no longer need social media to tune in live. So if you haven't already, please subscribe on our website and follow us on social media, on all of our social media channels. We are very easy to find. All right, so let's get this show started. Second show of the calendar year, and a lot happened. Thank you to Maya for an incredible recap of all that happened while we were off the air. But Sancha,
Yeah.
Charles H. Jeffers II says you had COVID, Sancha. Do you want to call the brother out, or are you just gonna leave it alone, Sancha?
Have you seen that meme that says something like not telling your side of the story? Sometimes like I'm just gonna leave it there, but I'm sure people can pick the bones through that. I went to a Christmas dinner, but hey, yeah.
Charles just happened to be there and
happened to be there, sitting next to me.
Yeah, nothing happened to him.
Let's move forward.
Yeah. Sean DeShield says, please give a better joke today. Well, I was not going to push Sancho through that today, but if you all think I should do a joke, just give me a thumbs up, please.
I think Sean likes the jokes. That's why he mentioned it.
I mean, he didn't seem impressed yesterday, but we've got a conversation to have, guys. So a lot happened. Sancho, of course, just mentioned that her schedule is as busy as her son's, right? So if Maddox is busy, Sancho's busy. And one of the things that he did, he was dancing gambes during the holiday. And a lot of talk has been happening about the gambes, people with various opinions about the history, people with new ideas on how we should celebrate the gambes. I personally have received every kind of WhatsApp message, text message from every deeply rooted, connected African Bermudian possible about the history about gambes, trying to get me. I'm like, no, I get it. You don't have to send me all this stuff every 2 seconds, but a lot has come through, right? And a lot of it mostly came through after the incident must happen. And if you don't know what incident I'm speaking about, I'm not going to share any videos or talk about that in depth, but the Bermuda Gambé Council, I'm not sure who makes it up outside of who's in the picture, but they addressed this in an email sent on January 4th on Wednesday, that they had internally dealt with issues that escalated tensions while groups were out dancing over the holidays, right? And that included people from Gambé Evolution Troop, the Gambé Warriors, H&H, Places New Generation Gambés, Wark Gambés, SMS Village Gambés. So they all came together to release a statement. And truthfully, they want to protect and grow the culture. So I guess the question of the morning, and it's not just related to Gambés, it's related to the community as a whole. What can we do to better protect our cultural traditions? Because another comment out of this censure, which was very interesting, and it was public, but Dr. David Roots, David Chapman, many people may know him as, actually said something to the effect that we must stop commercializing our gambes, right? And I found that comment interesting because I remember probably about 9-8 years ago, my business partner, her sister, I was taking her around Bermuda during Cop Match, and took her to non-mariners. We went on the Bermuda tourism boat, and one of the things she said to me back then, and she's a lawyer, right, in the U.S., and she said Bermuda should be cautious about commercializing their cultural traditions, right? And she's a non-Bermudian, right? Never lived in Bermuda, but she saw Cop Match as something that for Bermudians to enjoy, right? And there's this thin line. So it was interesting coming from a non-Bermudian as to how we celebrate that. And cultural traditions go beyond race in this respect, folks. I'm talking about Bermuda as a community, as a culture, as a whole. But with the gambes, I found that comment interesting not to commercialize. Now, what does that mean? I don't know what that means, Sancha, but to me, it could mean, why are gambes not allowed to perform on Sundays in the streets, but they can go to a hotel and perform? Because I saw people complaining about that. So question of the morning, what can we do to better protect our cultural traditions? And this is a broad question because we need to protect them from the incident that led to the Gambé Council providing a statement. That means, young people, if we're getting them involved in gambes, we need them to understand and respect what Gumbays represent and not the behavior that we were witnessing on video. So that's your question of the morning. What can we do to better protect our cultural traditions?
So this one, we don't want to talk directly about the incident, but I'm sure a lot of people did see the videos going around. The first video I was actually there for. My son dances for H&H, and he's 6. A lot of people were like, well, maybe the little kids shouldn't come out at night. You know, what are you exposing your kids to? You should be prepared. And for me, Maddox experienced his first dance the Friday night before, and the energy and it was just like, it was, I can't even explain to you what he took from that and how he saw like a different level of what Gumbays are and our culture. And, you know, it was amazing. So we had danced all day. And he was just like, Mommy, when is nighttime coming? Because he's looking forward to this night dance now. And I can honestly say the video that was like really bad, I didn't see any of that. I wasn't there for that. But I can honestly say what I saw from their interaction between the Gumbays, the leaders dealt with it swiftly and moved on. You know, the younger boys were asked to come out, and it's our tradition to kind of what they call clash each other, and it should be done in a healthy way. You should be able to show your craft and like they've been working so hard for this. But these kids that were dancing against each other, they were young. They're young, right? And it was inappropriate how he came out and kind of attacked the other one but it was dealt with. And it got me to thinking, at that age, our boys are developing socially, they are emotionally, and they're finding their way through. And nowadays it's done under a microscope, because as soon as it happens, you have a camera up and, you know, it's blasted, it's shared everywhere. Whereas these things are going to happen. They're kids and they're learning to direct their emotions, right? So in that moment, I respect, and I must say H&H, I feel like they handled it really well. It's like, we're not here for this. We're moving on. And they moved on, right? I think that there has to be a level of, and when they got back to the Gumbay house, they had this conversation with the kids. When stuff like this happens, you walk away from it. And those are the things that you don't see behind the scenes. Like, this is a brotherhood where these men are trying to show these kids better and how to operate through life and, you know, through their life lessons. So I also think that when things get out of control, like the second video, that's a matter for the leaders to really check themselves, because sometimes I know tensions run high, but it's no way that ever should have happened. We don't know what's the background of it, but
I think what you just said answers the question. The way H&H handled it, when they got back, they said to those young men, they spoke to them about walking away.
Yeah.
To me, that's leadership. And again, we've had people from H&H on, right? But that's leadership. That's leadership. That's letting them know, hey, we're out here to perform. We're out here to, you know, embrace our culture, our heritage, and our community. We're not out here to fight. And if that comes, we go the other direction. That's leadership. That's leadership. But I want to go back to what you said earlier, Sandra. Because it was very concerning. Folks, remember what Sandra said when she first started talking? Very concerning. Your son's 6. I honestly thought Maddox was older. He seems like he's been around.
I know. He's an old school.
He really is. But 6 years old. And you said people were saying, well, maybe the little Gumbays shouldn't be out at night. Excuse me? No. Are we saying that this behavior is okay? Just keep the young people at home?
This is it. It's like, no, we need, as a community, we need to look within and try to fix it. We have to fix it. There's no way we should be talking about our kids can't come out and get to learn our culture because we don't know how to behave. You know, it's no way. And yes, I mean, I feel like it's important for him. Like, you know, we're not going past 10 o'clock, but I think that at that age, I think it's important. It kind of grooms you and molds you into who you become. And, you know, and I also think that a lot of the history, you know, on this show over, you know, the past few months, we've learned so much information of the history of the Gumbies. And I think that that's something that we need to kind of do before you are even a Gumby. You need to know your history of it before you put on that uniform. Even as young as 6 years old, they should be held accountable for understanding. They learn lessons at school. This is our culture. This is why you're in, not just because you want to dance and you want to show off and be that peacock. This is why we do it. And you had mentioned when you said commercializing it, right? I totally agree in that aspect. Well, there's two things
You agree with me?
I do. I do.
That's not normal, folks. You don't see us, but go ahead.
I know. We go at it. But commercializing it, I totally agree. We shouldn't. But the second part of it is, which I wish that we could find a way to do some sort of Gumby entrepreneurship class, because the business of the Gumbays, they do not see it as a business, which is fine because we do it for the culture. But we also need to make sure that all of our ducks are in a row and we're doing this correctly so that it can grow. And I feel like certain things like that, what happened the other day, probably wouldn't happen if we were a little more organized in the foundation of it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, indeed. Let's go to the comments. What can we do better? What can we do to better protect our cultural traditions? We've got quite a few comments. Traveling Trotty says the island needs a living Gumby museum. Well, we did speak about that with Kelzine. Here's the thing. I'm in support of something like that, but I think due to volume and in the space we're in, either we incorporate it in something like the National Museum of Bermuda up in Dockyard, Maritime Museum, or we make it a virtual thing. And I speak of volume. It's like that argument back in the day that Bermuda needs a theme park. Well, volume-wise, are we gonna lose interest in it? You know, is it gonna be there? Mind you, interestingly enough, I can guarantee you, if I ask a question in the audience right now, yes or no, how many of you have been to the National Museum of Bermuda in the last 5 years? Yes or no? Yes, you have. No, you haven't. Yes or no? If I ask that question and the majority of the answers are no, then there's a need for a living Gumby museum. Yes or no, audience? Just be simple yes or no. Just answer yes or no. Have you been to the National Museum of Bermuda in the last 5 years? Have you been, Sanj?
Shmal, leave me alone.
That's
No, I haven't.
I'm telling you, the amount of information that you can learn from being up there. I haven't been in the last 4 years. That's why I said 5, folks, because I was trying to, you know, I didn't want to be censored. But no, I haven't been in since 2017, right? But it's a place. If you have young children, take them there. And the reason I wanted to put a poll out there to see if people have been is, if you're not going to support and learn about Bermuda then in that space, then the Gumby Museum, the first thing that's going to happen is financially, how do we support it? There wasn't any interest. It's going to be excuses to close it down as soon as it opens. But let's go to the audience. Sean DeShield says yes. Rosalind Famous, yes. Mark Arthur C. Phillips, no. Angeline Butler, yes, I have. Marquita Lee, no. Karen Simmons, no. Diane White, no. Charles Jeffers, yes. Sheikha Rana, yes. Nicole Walker, no.
Half.
Yeah, it's
But I will be going.
Okay.
I need to. I like when you call me out and stuff like this so I can battle myself. I will be there.
All right, Sancha and Maddox be there. Let's go back to the audience. What can we do to better protect our culture? You want to take Karen Simmons, Sancha?
So she says to protect our culture, traditions should start with learning about them and the significance of how it's still relevant now. I agree with Traveling Trotty. And I agree with that. Like we have to, which I said, before they get in that Gumbe uniform, they need to understand what this is about. It's not just about dancing, like where did the culture, the roots of it. And then I think that it will be a higher level of respect for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Agreed. Rosalind Famous says, encouraging more participation in our traditions, all our traditions, is one of the best ways to protect them, as it will ensure to keep the traditions alive, not letting them go extinct. Interesting, yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. Any further thoughts, folks? What are your thoughts? What can we do to better protect our cultural traditions? I think one thing is clear from this conversation. To better protect them, we need to understand them and what they are. Mm-hmm. I truly believe to better protect our cultural traditions, we need to better understand exactly what they are.
I also think simply, and they will probably hate me saying this, but there should be a community service aspect to it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And maybe this is where they can do things together. Mm-hmm. Right? So H&H and Evolution meet up for a KBB cleanup, and they get to know each other outside of those costumes.
Yes.
And they're integrating the groups. And yes, you have different dance styles, different drums of the beat, but we are in the same community.
Yeah. I like that idea, Sancha. I do love it. And maybe we can do something with them as part of the TDH crew. Who knows? Angeline Butler's got some advice. If you're planning on visiting the National Museum of Bermuda up there, she says, make sure you have some time. Oh, it's a lot to take in. Folks, trust me, you will learn a lot. Jody Virgil says, thank you for the little push. We look forward to speaking to you about it, Jody. And Ebony Souza said, great idea, Sancha. Yes, that was an absolutely great idea. And we're going to bring Tamara McHale in. We have a very good conversation coming up with Anna Machado, the principal of Mount Saint Agnes Academy. And I love conversations like this. If you all have forgotten, we have had the head at Summersfield on previously. We've had quite a few people from public education, but I'm always curious because if you remember what Sir John Swan said last year when he was on this show in February, he said, Bermuda is very unique. We have more children in our private school institutions than public. That's not normal. So I'm always interested. Obviously, I'm very honest. I'm the only one of my siblings that attended public school the entire time. I just saying, I mean, I don't know. I speak to my parents.
Listen, that's a conversation for another day because I have so many opinions on this. I went to public and private. I would have loved for my son to go public, but he's in private. That's a conversation.
What private school you went to, Sancha?
What private school?
Yeah.
BHS.
Oh, I know.
So I went to Pedra Primary, I went to West End, and then I went to BHS.
I wonder what schools, if Tamara went private or public. Let's see where she went to school to. Let's take a guess. What do you think she did?
Private.
Private? Okay, let's bring her in. Let's see. It's time for the news break, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year.
Well, good morning, madam. How are you?
Yeah.
Doing fabulous. By the way, great show yesterday. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh yes, thank you. Glad you could make it. But we got to ask you. Sancha just said that she thinks she went to private school.
I actually did both. So I went to public, like for primary, and then for high school, I went. Actually, it's a boarding school. So I went to boarding school, and it's called Westwood High. And it's an all-girls boarding school, and I went there for 5 years. So I boarded for 5 years, and my parents would come and look for me on weekends. And I wore hats, like in those Madeline, like Madeline cartoon. I wore like a hat to school, and in the evening we wore white dresses. Yeah.
Sorry, we need a picture.
I'll try to find one.
I will say, as far as uniforms, though, I think school-wise in Bermuda, MSA has got to have the best school uniform. Like they have like the plaid.
Those quilted skirts.
Yeah.
They're very fashionable. You know,
Yeah,
I'm all into fashion. I
yeah.
actually used to wish I could wear one.
Yeah, see, BHS didn't have nothing on MSA anyway. I'm sorry. So, Tamara, real quickly. So, the gum bears, we were speaking about cultural traditions in Bermuda this morning, and we mostly speaking about Bermuda's gum bears. So, that would be like the John Canoe in Jamaica, right?
Yeah, like John Canoe.
Yeah. So, what are the John Canoes like gum bears in Bermuda? Like, I mean, look.
Look at her face. She's like,
no, it's so interesting that there was a discussion recently that I don't know, people don't seem to be interested in John Canoe anymore. Maybe like probably I don't even think I don't know, like people are just not interested. I'm not sure if it's us younger folks. I'm not sure why, but there doesn't seem to be a big interest unless maybe you're into like cultural, and I'm somebody who's into cultural things, but I'm not sure like the tradition is waning. Because generally around like Christmas time, it would be a tradition, but it's waning. I think we've become so Americanized.
Interesting.
oh, see?
Interesting.
And that's something I hope doesn't happen here in our space.
Yeah,
I think it's important to keep those, that culture, those roots, our history.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the news break. What you got for us today? Uh-oh, I think she's frozen. We've got a popsicle. We've got a Tamara popsicle, folks. She is.
She's cute. She's like,
you are funny. She should be back with us in a second, though, folks. Don't worry. It happens. It happens. But actually, my mother-in-law went to Westwood, the same school as Tamara. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, and apparently my wife was threatened. If she misbehaved, she would go there. So boarding school, yeah. Let's bring her back in. I think she's good to go. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yeah, I'm not sure what just happened. The screen just went blank. Sorry about that, guys. That's technology for you.
All good. Well, let's get to the news break. What you got for us?
All right, quickly. Okay, so good morning again, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break for today, January 10, 2023, brought to you by the People's Pharmacy. So in the news today, the Bermuda Police Service, BPS, is seeking the public's assistance with information about a collision involving two people on a motorcycle that occurred on South Road between Coral Beach and Modern Mart, Paget, between 10 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the 6th of December last year. And investigators are particularly interested in speaking with anyone who may be able to identify the two persons or the motorcycle they were traveling on. So yes, so contact the police regarding that.
All right.
Also in Bermuda, the Bermuda Police Service, BPS, they say that they can confirm an investigation is underway in relation to an attempted robbery, which occurred shortly after 2 p.m. on Saturday, the 31st of December at the Bargain Hunter store on Somerset Road, Sandys. So an unknown male entered the store, brandished an unknown object, and demanded the store owner hand over the cash from the cash register. But the proprietor, who's making the waves, he challenged the suspect with an axe. And then the suspect ran out of the store and escaped on foot in an easterly direction. So there are currently videos circulating online, but the police is actually asking members of the public to not forward those videos.
Wow. There's all these robbers happening, folks. Do better. I'm just gonna keep saying it. Do better. It's be creative, find a way. If you can't find a job, create a job, but do better. Don't try to take off anyone else's table who's working and trying to provide for themselves and their families.
Certainly. Also in the news today, the Bermuda Bankers Association, BBA, welcomed Jeff Scott, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, as its new CEO, succeeding Thomas O'Rourke, who steps down after 4 years in the role. And the spokesperson said he has over 30 years of experience in the financial services industry, starting his career in Canada and transitioning to Barbados. And yeah, so he said that he's delighted about his new role and commented, quote, "I am honored to have the opportunity to lead the BBA and to build on the solid foundation established by Tom."
Good
In
stuff.
some regional news, over in Trinidad and Tobago, a 6-year-old girl was unfortunately killed in a shooting at a relative's home in Sangre Grande on Sunday. And 3 other family members, a woman and 2 men, were wounded. Her name is Kylie Maloney. She's a primary school pupil, and she was asleep when gunmen entered the house and started firing shots. So it has caused an uproar in Trinidad and Tobago, including on the front page of the Trinidad Express today, the Minister of Education, livid about what took place.
Understandably so disgusting. My word.
Yeah. And over in Barbados, taxi operators, they are stoutly defending government's approval of their fare increase yesterday in the face of blowback from some in the tourism industry and the public. So Adrian Bailey, president of the Bridgetown Port Taxi Cooperative, says many stakeholders do not realize the hardship they had been facing for years, given constant hikes in gas prices. So they're saying that they deserve it.
I mean, taxi hike prices only affect those really who are traveling and using them, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Continue.
Go ahead. No, we've seen it in Bermuda recently, and it's a tough one because taxi drivers, as prices go up, cost of living, they have to make theirs as well. So it's about
And wrapping it up here from news from Jamaica, dozens of residents in Chester Castle, Hanover, that's a parish, they spent the last few days digging up a property looking for a substance believed to be pure gold. Unfortunately, they had their dreams of richness placed on hold after they were informed that they had dug up the mineral known as pyrite, which is popularly known as fool's gold. So some of the residents even broke down in tears on Monday afternoon after hearing the news. So according to the Mines and Geology Division of the Ministry of Transport and Mining, they said that the determination was made after a visual inspection by their team. So yes, so unfortunately for them, the videos went viral and the pictures on social media, they were like, we're rich now, we find gold, but it was
That
not.
was your joke of the day.
wow.
Plus, it would have been good news for us in Jamaica. Like how Guyana has oil, like we would have benefited from having some.
Yeah. Fool's gold. Well, that what a way to end it. What's the weather looking like?
So in the weather in Bermuda, plenty of sunshine after early cloud and a shower or 2. Winds northwesterly, moderate to strong, easing northwesterly, moderate by midday, then varying northerly, light towards dusk, and also sunny conditions here as well in Jamaica. That's your regional update.
What you got days of the year, Sandra?
Today is National Shop for Travel Day. Once the winter holidays are over, many people are dreaming of and looking forward to vacation time in the new year. Plus, the first couple of weeks of the year are oftentimes when airlines offer great deals and offer for those who are making travel plans. National Shop for Travel Day is the ideal time to get excited about all of the fun travel opportunities that are coming up in the next several months. Where are you going this year, Jamal?
I didn't have any plans.
What? You don't have one travel? Do you have any travel plans tomorrow?
I want to go to England this year because my mom lives there and my stepdad, and I want to go there because the last time I went to the UK I was in high school, so that's been a while.
Okay.
Where you got to go, Sandra? What you got planned?
I'm going to April. I'm going to a wedding in Mexico, Tulum.
Nice.
I'm going to buy my tickets today. This reminded me of that. Maddox and I are going Supercross in April.
Oh.
We're doing Drumline in a few weeks. Like, it's stuff to do. Come on, Jamal.
I mean,
tickets. Let's go.
Yeah.
And Maddox would like to go to Portugal. He keeps asking, Mom, can we go to Portugal? So I'm going to try to fit that in this year.
My word. Well, I got to get my game up. I have my U.S. passport now. I just need to use it, right?
Let's have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach out to Traveling Trotty for some ideas for you.
Yeah, she'll have you some places you didn't know existed. Tamara, thank you so much. We'll see
Thank
you
you
later
so
on.
much. Thank you.
All right. All right, folks. Tamara McHale there. We're going to take a quick break. We've got the principal of Mount Saint Agnes Academy, Miss Anna Machado, coming on. We're talking about a different learning experience. Do not go anywhere. A lot of show to go.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. She is Sandra Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and Mac, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, if you don't know, you no longer need what, Sancha? Social media to tune into Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. Just go on our website. Honestly, it's as simple as going on your favorite news website, the Royal Gazette, Burn News. Just go on our website, press play, and you can tune in. You no longer need a social media account. We know a lot of people who don't have a Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. They just want to watch the show. There you go. If you have internet access, you can watch it from any device. Just hit play on our website. We're working on the comments. If you want to comment, you still have to use YouTube or Facebook. But for those shy people, and there's a lot of you, you can still communicate with us. Just watch us without communicating with us on our website, thedailyhour.com. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We have the principal of Mount Saint Agnes Academy, Anna Machado. Let's bring her in. Let's give her a warm welcome to the show. TDH, welcome. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
As you've been here, they are very excited to have you. The crowd is going a bit crazy. Truthfully, I must say this because I know some people tuned in might be saying, well, why didn't the crowd go crazy for Dame Philadelphia yesterday? Well, we were having some technical difficulties, and today with us doing our check earlier, Miss Machado set us straight, so our audio is fine. So thank you for coming early and getting us all straight. How are you today?
Great, thank you. It's a great day.
Well, it's always a great day in Bermuda, but hey, let's get right into it. Let's just, before we get into what makes MSA, as it's known, a different learning experience, just speak to the audience, let the audience know a bit about your background and how you made it to become the principal of Mount Saint Agnes Academy.
So I started teaching here at MSA back in September of 1999. It seems like a very long time ago now, but instantly felt that this was a school with a different vibe and a place where I definitely felt at home. And I knew I wanted to just continue my career here at MSA. And then through the years, I taught some middle school, elementary, high school, a variety of things. And then at the point where the then principal and vice principal were about to retire, so they looked for some internal opportunities, and definitely slowly began this transition. So I was assistant principal for a while, then principal designate, and that's how I've landed in the hot seat that I'm in now.
Congratulations to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, that's always really good. I know me having a son, when you have a teacher that has been with school for a long time and has seen their way through, they kind of know the school in and out. So that's always a plus. And you kind of answered this question already, but I'll ask it again. What grades of schooling does MSA cater to?
So we have kids from the early learning program, which is when they're the year they go four, so like a pre-K, all the way to grade 12. So we have the blessing of having these kids for 14 years of their lives. That's very special.
So, with that being said, what curriculum does the school follow, and does that curriculum cover the full 14 years of education?
So we follow the Alberta curriculum. It's a province in Canada. The only year that doesn't fit directly into the Alberta curriculum is our early learning program, but we definitely have that same culture there. But from kindergarten all the way to grade 12, our students do follow the Alberta curriculum.
I know one of the questions that you probably get a lot is how much of the teachings are faith based, as you are a faith based school?
We are very proud of our Catholic heritage, the tradition. We love the fact that the gospel values are just infused in who we are, how we roll as a school family. So yes, students do have religion all throughout, but it's not about conversion or wanting everyone to become Catholic. It's about meeting everyone in their own faith experience, but being able to have that faith discussion.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. So I know for me, middle school age was extremely trying. And you're trying to keep up with schoolwork, you're trying to figure things out socially. It can be a lot. And I read recently where MSA is collaborating and incorporating the Keegan cooperative learning to support this transition. Can you tell me a little bit more about the collaboration?
Definitely. Middle school is hard for the kids, and it's also hard for the people dealing with the kids because it's a very difficult age. So what we have found, especially in the post-COVID world, there can be at times a discrepancy in class as far as attention and interaction with students. So Kagan cooperative learning is a way that structures interaction so that you don't have a high-flying student monopolizing the class while you have a bit of a wallflower at the back just humbly waiting for their turn. So these structures make it that all interaction is equal and that students have equal opportunity to express themselves. And students also, when they're not speaking, are listening actively so that they can engage in the conversation. It's a very collaborative model.
What exactly brought about the need for the collaboration?
So I think if you look up Kagan cooperative learning, it is huge. It's decades old, so it's not something new. And it is just that need for engagement through collaboration. It's a very active classroom, and it's making sure that students are all engaged and have the same opportunity to thrive in the classroom. And especially in the post-COVID world, we found students were lacking the social interactions. So it was a huge way to just continue the connection, because part of the learning isn't just the book learning, it's learning how to exist within a team and just learning those social skills that are so important in any workplace, just in life. So it's been a huge part of the education, not just the book knowledge, but the social emotional knowledge as well.
I think that's awesome that you can kind of recognize that and kind of key into it, because it is hard, like at that age, socially, just trying to. I mean, even my 6 year old, I look at him sometimes and socially, you don't want to step in to kind of push them, but sometimes you have to make it a little comfortable for them. So I appreciate that. Um, Another thing that's important for me as a parent is extracurricular activities. What extracurricular activities are offered as MSA? What languages are offered? Do you do foreign languages?
So we do foreign languages from our early learning program. That's where they start, and they have an exposure to French and Spanish. So all throughout elementary, students have a semester each of French and Spanish. By the time they get to grade 6, they typically then pick the one language that they really want to dive into. So most students take it up to grade 10. Some continue onwards, but for many, they stop at grade 10. And as far as extracurricular, as a relatively small school, it's really different because every year you kind of take notice of the interests that the students have at the time and try to build extracurriculars around their interests. There are years that something like a girls in tech after school, class will thrive, and then other years there's far more interest in chess, for example. I mean, and those are just two examples, but we do have all the sports that BCCSF offer. I get all the initials in. So there's a lot of athletic opportunity, a lot of musical opportunity, and then a lot of it just based on student interest.
Just a quick follow-up. You mentioned it's a small school. What's the total population of students at the school?
It's 420 in total, but we do have only up to about 40 students in a grade level. So we really pride ourselves on the family vibe at MSA and really getting to know the students as individuals. We know that every student comes to us with a wealth of knowledge, with a wealth of culture, with a wealth of family background, rich traditions, and what we believe that they thrive when we can meet them where they're at and then take them to the next step. That's why we really value individual stories and getting to know students as individuals and just help them progress and do their individual goal setting so that they can continue to do their very best. But it's a lot. We're big on being a family, looking out for one another, and really helping each child to thrive.
What's the classroom sizes like?
So in elementary, our class sizes range from about 11 to 16. We do typically grow in middle school, so the classes will vary from about 18 to 20.
Mm-hmm. So just going back to the collaboration again with Keegan Cooperative Learning, what would you define as the success of a child having completed this program?
So it's not an isolated program. It's more a method of instruction, like the whole way through. And so what we find is students who are more engaged, they find their voice, so to speak. They can communicate confidently, and they are really in tune with their classmates, their teammates. So if you look in any work environment, most people are not working in isolation. So it's developing those skills, making them a well-rounded just communicator, and just having empathy and compassion for their classmates as well.
I want to tell you a really quick, cool story. So I don't know if you know this, Jamal, but Maddox's dad, Jesse, went to MSA. And I heard Jesse telling Maddox, it just popped into my head just a few days ago when you talk about finding your voice. He says, I had never sang before, and they were doing a production of Lion King, and I decided to go and audition. And he sang the song. He said, Maddox, I walked in there and I sung the part of Simba of Don't Worry for the Rest of Your Days. And he was singing it. He was like, you got the part. And he was like, and that's where I found my voice. So the first time Jesse had ever sang on stage was in this production of Lion King, and look at him now. So
look at MSA, won't they do it?
The awesome singer like Jesse.
See, you just never know what spark you're going to awaken in a child.
Yeah. So another thing, as I was reading that stood out to me is that Solstice, professional counseling is on site daily for the kids, who can benefit from it. And I think that this is extremely important as our community doesn't really embrace therapy as openly as we should. So normalizing this from an early age is such a useful life skill. Can you explain how kids are encouraged to utilize this service?
So it's there are times where we as teachers or administrators may notice a child is struggling, and we will suggest that they refer or can get in touch with the Solstice therapist. But they can also just initiate contact independently. We've given them the contact information, and as a school, we don't need to know, unless the child is in dire need or there is something significant going on. It's very independent, very private. So students can ask for help, and it could be something they just need a short-term support in. And obviously there are students who need long-term support. And again, especially in the post-COVID world, I hate to keep bringing it up, but there are so many kids struggling far beyond what we can imagine. And as teachers, as compassionate as we want to be and as supportive as we want to be, there are certain skills that we don't possess, and we acknowledge that we don't possess them. So it is amazing to have the Solstice staff here every day and being able to refer the students to them. And just with their amazing, vast team, they can really hone in and match the need of the student with the therapist. So it's been a wonderful opportunity.
Nice. I love it. If you have any questions or comments for Mrs. Machado, please send them through. We do have one question from Manuela John. She's asking, are there currently any nuns teaching at MSA?
No, it has been quite a few years since there have been any nuns. We're all the laity now. So we still keep the Catholic traditions and everything, but there are no nuns.
All right. Quick question, just going back to the number of students. What are the requirements at each level to get into Mount Saint Agnes Academy?
So it does vary. So from our 3-year-olds, we're going to look at them very differently than we look at the kids entering middle school. So it's all age appropriate and age development. So with the little ones, we do get to know them. But once you get into middle school, our students, for example, do come in and spend the day. And there are some different assessments that we do just to see where they are at. Obviously, we know, as much as we want everyone to have their own individual path, that there has to be the ability to blend in with academically. So we do have some learning support, both for support and for enrichment. And we invite students to come in and spend a day and get to know us, we get to know them, and then we can plan accordingly.
All right. And before you go, one last thing. And I think this would be a great note to leave on. What makes Mount Saint Agnes Academy a better learning experience than what else is out there? And I'm putting you on the spot to say that, because at the end of the day, the idea is to make sure our institution is looked at as the best, so that children and the community benefit. But what would you say really sets it apart?
Without hesitation, it's our family vibe. It's something about that gospel love, that love that everyone has for one another. Everyone looks out for one another for generations to come. Whether you've been at MSA from your third year going for, or you've started yesterday, you're part of the MSA family. And I think that's the hugest thing, if that's even a word, hugest benefit that we have, is that vibe that you have of how we all look out for one another.
All righty. Anna Machado, principal of Mount Saint Agnes Academy, thank you so much for this conversation. I'm going to be honest, I always knew MSA because it was right in the heart of the city. I remember playing basketball around there, mostly always the shortest on the team, but that's neither here or there. But I made my first and probably only shot at that gym when we played you. I was at Northlands. We've got one question from the audience before we let you go. I'm sorry. Sean DeShields asking, how has MSA established a partnership with the Bermuda College to create a seamless transition for students to higher education on island?
We don't have a partnership per se, but we do have several students who go to the Bermuda College once they leave us. So quite a few of our students continue after MSA. Some go straight to university abroad, but for those that go to Bermuda College, we have a strong connection there.
All righty. Well, madam, thank you so much. And how can people get in touch with to learn more about MSA if they have children that they would love to take in that direction?
Absolutely. Please check out our website, msa.bm. Feel free to email our main office. We are having an information session next week. And despite what you think you know about a school, either from when you were in school or from what you hear in the community, there's nothing like experiencing it for yourself. Don't go by what other people say. Come to find out firsthand about the programs. So we invite people to email MSA office at msa.bm or just call us, and we'd be happy to arrange tours and just provide more information.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.
Have a great day. Thank you.
All right, folks. If you appreciated that conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. That was Anna Machado, the principal of MSA. Do not go anywhere. We're going to come right back, wrap today's show up, and have a little daily play. I gave you all a hint. I gave you a hint. Stick with us.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Anna Machado from Mount Saint Agnes Academy, folks. If you'd like more information, just make sure you go visit their website, msa.bm. I have my opinions about public and private, and I think some of you would be shocked to hear them, but I'll share that as we close it up. Thanks again to One Communications, Medical House Linda's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we're able to have those kind of conversations. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sancha, are you ready?
I am. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I'm ready.
All right. It's the first one of the year, and it's a remember when. Help her out, folks. Did you Google anything about Mount Saint Agnes after I said that it's going to be about MSA? Question?
I don't cheat.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Mount Saint Agnes Academy became the first all-white private or government-aided school in Bermuda to voluntarily admit Black students in what year?
I am going to say 1955, 56. Am I close? I'm close? 1958 for the win.
You're 4 years off. Mount Saint Agnes Academy became one of the first private or government-aided schools to voluntarily admit Black students in 1962.
Okay.
10 years off. 10 years off. 1962. 1962. Yeah.
I like it.
Yep. So very interesting. Again, I know one of my partners, her daughter attends MSA. Man, they had some good basketball players. It was these brothers there during my time, and man, they used to be very good. I don't remember their names, but
there seems to have been like a lot. There are a lot of people I know that just this year in particular that have sent their kids to MSA this year. It's like, what's going on? I need to figure out what's going on. So I was excited to hear this story, and to be talking with her this morning about it, to actually, because I never really knew what curriculum they followed. I didn't know anything about MSA. So thank you for this conversation.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's wrap it up. I mean, cultural traditions, protecting them, and then obviously the conversation with Ms. Machado. What's your thoughts?
As I said before, I think it's very important for us to protect our cultural traditions, and not only just even for in this aspect, our Black males. It's really important for them to have the support to grow in a secure space, right? For them to make those mistakes and have the people backing them and helping to see them through. I think that's always important. Maybe, as I stated before, we should probably try to do some more community events where they get to know each other on a different level. So when we come into these things, I don't think that gun-based clashing should change.
No, it's not a bad thing.
It's not. I think it should be healthy competition.
Correct.
But we have to help them to create a foundation for it. So if I know you outside of that suit, then when we're competing, it's just like, we're competing with love,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. MSA, I'm happy, to have this conversation today. As I said, Jesse Maddox's dad, he attended MSA, and, I hear some of his stories, and it seems like he had the time of his life. He just told me the other day when he went there, it was 2 nun sisters that I guess were the principals, and he had a blast, loved them. And I, believe it or not, I am a person that actually appreciates religion in school. I think we moved away from it, and I wish that we can kind of implement it a lot more into schools. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say to protect our cultural traditions, we definitely have to, as I said earlier, make sure people understand them. If people don't understand their culture, then what is there to protect? As far as MSA, I'll say this much. I know a lot of people debate public versus private, and you said, you'd want your child in public, but he's in private. And I think that comes down to trust. At the end of the day, we have a lot of public educators that tune into this show. We have a lot of public educators that support this show. It's not you that people don't trust. It's the government that oversees the system that people don't trust. And so I feel for our educators because we have some of the best, but I completely understand people who don't trust a governance over education and are willing to debt themselves to make sure that they give their children what they believe is the best for them. So on that note, you've got some daily inspiration to send us on our way, right, Sandra?
I do. Every person, organization, and even society reaches a point at which they owe it to themselves to hit the refresh, to re-energize, to renew, to reframe, and to rethink their purpose. So with this new year, I think we should all refresh.
I agree. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and Mac, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this for you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sandra Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, please do make it a safe and a great day. We're out. Peace.